All right, good afternoon, everyone. So we got a lot to cover here, and just decided to do this live as a little surprise, I guess. I just had a whim, mainly because we got some earnings going on, and it looks like a double beat for Google. I was actually just saying in the trading room right before I went on here, this actually looks like a dip buy at 185, and it's bouncing right now. You can see here, if I flip over to the dashboard, it's pretty positive. And this is one that if I had to pick out of this or Tesla to go long, I would have gone long this one. It would have obviously not worked, but it is a very supportive flow here. And it looks like Tesla right now, and so that might be a dip buy, but Tesla right now, not really doing a ton, just kind of all over the map. It's now inching up. There is a magnet up at 350 up here. So we can talk about that. So we'll see if it inches up to 350. But first, yeah, we'll talk about the markets here real quick. We'll get back over to this shortly. Right now, so yeah, definitely. So I just want to say right off the bat, couple of things. First of all, a couple of trades this morning. This is one of those days where, just to show you, because like, it always seems like, I don't know if it's like the influencer thing, the typical, like everybody's always talking about how great it is, and like it always looks like it's everything's so easy for personalities and what online. But this morning was definitely one of those days where it was like I'm really kind of pissed off with like with trading right now, because we had a I called this yesterday in the room after I was. I think the Dow and the Russell are going to rip tomorrow, and they started to. And this morning I went in and we picked up some RTY, and like, we were a little out of the money. Got a little early. It was a little out of the money. Didn't trigger the stop, and then we just we went back up. But long story short, this worked out really well, and just started to roll over here. And I said, you know what, we are, I said this is the dealers are moving risk up. I can see it. I can see them moving away from 225, and I said, this breakout though, it should really, if it's going to break out, I love the price action here. Gap into this, pull back, no gap and crap, right back up, and we just melted through it. Usually this should just go, like it should not take, it shouldn't really have to maybe back test more than just a little bit there, and it ended up kind of rolling over. So we ended, long story short, we took a gain on it, but I closed it out before it got back below. I figured like, okay, well, this is just going to roll over. It's just going to sit at 225. It's going to take another day to break out. I'll put on another position before the close. And then literally like 20 minutes later, you get that trade deal announcement with the EU. And then it, pumps up to like our first, what it would have been our first target. So we ended up getting back in on the dip. It worked out, but just one of those wacky mornings. But yeah, IWM, I've been talking about this all day. And actually, the reason why it was so annoying is because I predicted exactly what would do it, too. I said, watch for a trade deal announcement at some point today, and, it happened. But, it's just how it goes sometimes. But, it still worked out. We got a nice trade on Bitcoin, too, and closed a gold runner, and I'm still holding silver. But, yeah, I talked about this. Yeah, like call selling. That's like been the kick lately. And yeah, just because there's a gamma wall somewhere, don't mean you should sell calls against it or short it. And this is a good example. This has been consolidating for a week or two, and very strong pattern. The diamond here, very strong pattern. Dow about to make new all-time highs. I think Apple's next, as you guys know. It's just knocking on the door there. So you can get Microsoft, with Microsoft backed off today, although it did bounce back up by the end of the day. We can get Microsoft and NVIDIA to come down. And if Apple breaks up, it's going to go up here. Now, what are the risks right now? There's two. There's one for the bulls and one for the bears here. So right now, like, dude, this breakout here, like, I don't know, man. It looks like it wants to go like up. Look at this angle here. Yeah, right. I mean, it looks like we could get. 64, we're already more than halfway to 64. And by the way, speaking of call selling, there was a ton of calls sold at 63.50 today. Closed 8 points above that. So I mean, they're definitely, you know, I think we're finally seeing hedge funds get run over enough. We saw that with Coles yesterday. Awesome trade there. You know, Open Door, Webull, Wolf, all these, you know, crazy. You know, we got all the altcoins running too. But the risk here is that you don't want to try and step in front of it too early because it can go a lot higher. And usually the most violent move is the one at the end. And this is probably the closest thing I could see to like almost what happened before Volmageddon. Now, here's the other side of the risk, right? If we do something like that, there's a freaking giant pocket of volatility that can open up. And that doesn't matter if how close we are to OPEX or not. So positioning is getting squeezed out finally. And we saw call premiums. It really started to change. There weren't so many puts being bought today. It really started to shift. So, yeah, basically what I'm saying is we're definitely in inning number 9, and the IWM here. You know, this should get up to 230 easily. Probably has to gap up tomorrow to do it, but it closed above this high today. So I'm not gonna. I mean, like look at the Dow. Like I'm not. Don't short that. You know, that's a bull flag breakout, right? So that's where we're at now. You know, I was thinking about last night. That's what Matt just asked. I was just about to say. Anybody know what 10% from here is? It's 10% from here is 5. It's like 570. Doesn't that seem like it's like insane? Like, you know, insanely unrealistic bear target. That's 10%, 570. Right, you know, 634, so 63.4. It's 570, 60. That's there's your gap right there. Now, if that happens, do I think we go straight there? Probably not. I mean, there could be a vol event, but I think it's going to be more of a when we pull back. I think it'll be more like market down with vol down. Maybe at first you get a vol spike, but. That's just kind of what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing though, and this is why we've been warning the whole like spring. I said, watch for a huge rally into the summer. I didn't think we'd go this high this fast, but I knew we'd get up to double top at least. But this whole like trying to top tick everything, trying to out macro the market. It's just this is what's causing this. It's what's causing it, and we saw it. I mean, I was literally baffled. This past week when we looked at the COTs, and again, I'm showing this like daily, but it's just like look at all these day trading lines. But yeah, I mean, like still, like they started to cover and then they went back. Like, dude, and even retail went short again. Like, so I mean, this is what's causing it. And it's like you'd think that you'd give up after like 6,000 or something. No, they just kept going. So we'll see. Now, here's the only thing here's where it changed my mind. We got a high volume reversal. That's it. So 100 million shares on SPY, you know, a 1% down day. Then we can talk about a top gain in. But until then, don't fight it. The only thing I would do if I wanted to fight it or like hedge is just buy vol. It's not going to go much lower than 15. And volatility usually bottoms before the market tops anyway. I think it'll bottom pretty soon here. But it got wrecked all day long. So, and we are getting kind of like close to the point where like everything's kind of like we're getting trade deals out now. So we're kind of getting to the point where everything's like, all right, what else do we have left to rally on, you know? So, but yeah, you start getting small caps to run. And some of these really, really beaten down stocks, like Lamb Weston had earnings today. This is a junk piece of crap company I'm in. I'm in the money on it though. With CAG, I was joking out. When this rallies, like get out, right? If XLE's green, get out, right? XLV, how about healthcare today? That was up nicely. So let's see if these break out. But yeah, transports were up nicely. So. You know, we're in that. I think we're in the ninth inning here. So Obviously, the other target, the downside target, the easy, I mean, 6150, to 6100, right? But I think we got a date with 64 first. Now, there's some pretty big call walls up there, like massive, so I don't think we're getting through it. But we can melt up there and stay up there for a little bit. So let's take a look at Tesla really quick. Oh, we're getting to questions. How's IYR? Yeah, had a nice bullish pause day. You can talk precious metals if you want. I did sell my gold runner. I still have silver though. What am I doing here? All right, so Tesla dipping. Nothing terrible though. Yeah, and Google holding up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens. We got the Fed next week. We got Apple. Yeah, it went right to 185. Look at that. It went right to that big dealer. I mean, they're just really supportive. So when I said I'll go long, I meant that like it was supportive. And honestly, it's so far it's outperforming Tesla, even though Tesla pumped first. Yeah. Question from Opland Group about him. So see another one. Like this is another big runner. High beta stock. Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is the stuff that's working right now. $60. Yeah, there's probably resistance there. Let's just see what we got for Friday. Gotta do probably like 25% on this thing. Yeah, 60. So there's your call wall right there for Friday. That's just this week. So you could fade it against that if you want. But if it doesn't look like, I don't think that would. I don't think it has much of a reason to go through that right now, but just be aware it's really positively hedged right now. It probably being up 16% in one day will do that, I'm sure. But yeah, it looks like 60 is it right now. This does, this chart technically is good though. I like the pullback and then it rallied. It's got higher lows, so. Yeah, it's not just another thing running. Like, like look at Wolf Speed today. Just a casual, it was up like, 100%, 142. Yeah, it was up like, 40% at one point intraday. Just normal stuff. Yeah, Navarro had to get us. I don't know if you guys heard, but we were joking about this all day because they announced a trade deal and then there was like, well, Trump didn't say anything. So usually he's out there like, look, we did the best trade deal with the best plywood, and all this stuff. And he didn't say anything. And then Navarro comes out and he goes, yeah, well, don't, take it with a grain of salt. And it dipped for 10 minutes and we went back up. So we're like, yeah, Navarro was trying to protect his short call and he got wrecked. So market's up after hours just a little. Well, no, it's flat. It's flat after hours with Google and Tesla mixed. How's Southwest? I think they reported too. Or maybe not. Who else we got? QuantumScape. There's another piece of junk that just blew off here. Oh, how about everybody's favorite? CMG. Ooh, CMG down to 47. Okay. All right. Yeah, Broadcom was up. I don't know what the news was, but that's all-time high there. It's going to 295 and then 300. And then that's it. That's it for that stock. Yeah, Johnny, exactly. Yeah, Johnny's saying the gaps have to fill, right? Yeah, I mean, like it's funny. Like I remember back here, where it was right here. No, and I still remember giving out that 510 level SPY as a dip buy right there, and it was perfect intraday. And we gapped up 2 days later, and I said in the trading room, I was like, I was like, guys, I'm buying here because everybody, like, I've just seen everybody on Twitter and everything. Oh, they're gonna fill the gap. They're gonna fill the gap, and then it can go up. And I was like, they're gonna lock everyone out of this thing, and it's just gonna pain trade all the way up. And I didn't think it was gonna go like it was gonna be that crazy, but yeah, that's what happens. I mean, look at the, you know, when are these gaps gonna fill? When is the pandemic gap gonna fill? Still waiting. There's gaps from back. I've showed people back from like 2011 that haven't filled. They don't have to fill. And when they do it, it could be from a lot higher, right? Like this gap finally, like you filled some of these, right? You filled it, but look how long it took, right? You did it from 6,100 after 48. Pretty wild. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. If you give a thumbs up, it helps out very much. I will say though, I'm looking forward to. I don't mind melt up markets, but like this period was like the best. Like between here and here, this is like the volatility is so light that like I don't like it when levels pierce. Like I'm a type of trader where I want to see a level pierce like good. Like I was talking about the Russell earlier, like this. Like that's not enough for me. Like I want to see it slice and then like come back. But the volatility is so low right now, and the liquidity is so like plentiful that it just can't even like get through. It can't even like stop out. It can't even run stops. It's like, so I'll be looking forward to that if we can get some volatility back. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. AZ saying sold all Tilray shares. Did it move? Yeah, so even Tilray was rallying. Yeah, even Tilray. Yeah, when Tilray's rallying, yeah, it's time. How is TCN? Huh? Maybe it has another leg. Maybe it's got another leg in it. But yeah, you don't want to stay. You have to take profits on marijuana stocks. You have to take profits on the way up. But yeah, Tilray moving. How's CJC? CJC isn't doing anything. Yeah, no problem. Class lawsuit against him. Did they just announce that, or because it looks like it's doing all right? Careful with Carvana. That has to go to all-time highs first. It has to go to all-time highs before we have a recession, so that my magnum opus of like scenarios can play out. And then it can do whatever it wants, and I don't care. I mean, this could still be, you could consider this a flag here, just be careful. Weekly's still okay. I actually looked at this. I think, they report next week, right? Yeah, I can already tell you what the hedges are at, because I've already looked. It's 365, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, you know what? Let's just look at the by expiry, because we don't care what happened today. Yeah, so it looks like 360 is going to be hard to get through. And then like if it like giga pumped, it could go to like 400, and then like 300 is your kind of your big. That would be a big down. But this doesn't look terrible right now. It's still like a week and a half away though, so this might change. So we'll see. Okay, like a week ago with that. All right, yeah. Oh, with the okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite charts ever. We traded this a bunch of times in 2022 and made like really nice gains on it. just bottom picking basically. But look at this. I mean, dude, 375 to $3 or like $2. Was it three? Yeah, okay, $3, and then back to like, dude, that is unreal. And the reason why I think like this is so fascinating, the reason why I picked this stock to like be, which happens first, is because this is like the poster stock for like macro shorting, basically, and because it was a $3 stock. Uh, so it's close. It's really close. We're so close. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Fubo, that's one I played with a few times before. Does look pretty good. I mean, all this needs is just some stupid deal news. Netflix rumored to buy something like that. That thing will take off. There's probably a lot of short interest in it. Um, I might look at this actually. Doesn't appear like the short interest is that high right now, but a different screen here. But I'm sure there are. But yeah, this chart's interesting though. It's not bad. And yeah, and that's a Kathy stock, right? Yeah, that could be Hertz. Yeah, some of these got those got anything of those anything with that like rounded bottom type look. You know, that's what got me into KSS. Is this I mean, it kind of had like an inverse head and shoulder too, but I mean, this went into like literally like it went back to like 1995 levels. I think it was at like a little less than $10, right? And I like how it pierced. It like blew through the COVID low, and then it started to rebound, and then higher lows. Like that's like, oh, okay, it's sellers are off sides here. I didn't think it was gonna go to 20, but I was like, I'll give you $12, but it sold on the way up, so it worked out. That was cool though. That was really cool. Not a huge position, but I know some members had like options and stuff that did pretty well. So yeah, yeah, they could totally say, yeah, dude, an institution could come out and float some BS. Oh, I heard that Disney is an executive. You know, they can. It's so easy for them to do that too, especially with a company like Fubo. Like if they know that there's institutions that are like in, like exposed, that this type of stuff does happen. All they got to do is say, just put a rumor out there, and if they're exposed enough, they can just gamma squeeze them. Yeah, there's a lot of insider sales. Yep, in a lot of things. Yeah, that's the other one, the other real popular one, Rocket. Yep. The only thing I don't like about this is it came in pretty hard today, and it's got supply up here. But prior to that, it had a nice pullback pattern, though. That was let me see, upward. Yeah, not the best, is it? I'm trying to think. What's the other? Redfin. How about Redfin here? Ain't bad. I'm trying a little bull wedge there. Weekly's kind of. I like how it. Wow, imagine being short this. You trap. How many shorts are trapped right there? Yeah, that's possible. That could be a runner. Keep that one on watch. Oh, they did. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. There it is, June 26th. I forgot about that. So yeah, there you go. Same kind of company. Well, it was a good pattern. This would be good right now in this situation. So, yeah, but the Chinese stocks are still, and I know that they, the trade deal helped them today. It's helping all these. I think that's why gold backed off because it was doing okay until then. Yeah, Bob is still okay. I was looking at Baidu. It wasn't that good the other day. It's firmed up a little bit now. This used to be a really good stock to trade. Now it just sucks. PDD got a nice bid. Josh asking, how do you determine when risk comes in? There's like, I could like write a book on that. I could write a book on. There's really no one thing. I would just say, right, like if there's like any one catch-all thing, it would just be semiconductor weakness. That's probably like the best thing that you can look at as a leading indicator. But yeah, there's so many different things. Like there's not any one thing I could pump to that I could point out because there's just so many different things and the applications are different. But I would say, yeah, semiconductor weakness is a pretty good one. It's sustained, like not one day. I know TIGR. The stock almost went out of business a few years ago. I traded this a few times. Yeah, the chart's fine. Yeah, I mean, I remember I bought it when it was like $6 and we like flipped it a few times. I think we did this a couple times back in like 2021. They'd rounded bottom. Got a lot of supply up here, but it's nice. Grinded back nicely. Yeah, UNH. I bought at 258. I sold at whatever, it's 310 or something. And I had a runner for like the longest time, and then I finally just dumped it because I just got bored of it. I would consider like it's not going to go down. There's a floor in this. I just got tired of it, honestly. But yeah, if you wanted to buy it, I'm not against it at all. Just like if it can't reclaim 300, what's to say it doesn't like try to go to double bottom? That's my only thing. So if you do buy it, like maybe leave a little bit of cash. But if it reclaims 300, that does start to change the story a little bit. It needs to do that though. Because dealers are going to just sell into every rip if it doesn't do that. And that's one of the reasons why I sold. And I like came to that conclusion a few weeks ago, really. But you can see here, this is for August. It's in negative gamma like pretty much the whole way. But if it can get above 300, then it can change that. But it's going to require organic buying. So it's not going to have an automatic tailwind. But maybe it can squeeze. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of shorts in this too. So yeah, but if it can get above 3, it changes it. I'm not against owning it though. I don't think it's going to go much lower, but it could take some time. Yeah, for sure. Also insane fat in the money put positioning and a ton of positive gamma rolling off after an expiry is good risking. For sure. Yeah, yeah. I would say that's just like a general like always be you want to be careful around those expiries. But as far as like specific things, like yeah, like semi weakness for sure. Yeah, I hate this stock. This is like one of my most hated stocks ever. Yeah, it's down after hours. It looks like maybe it's finally kind of priced, kind of grown into not its valuation, but you know what I mean. because it hasn't really had those monster reactions on earnings in a while. Granted, you could make a case this monthly chart is kind of a bull flag. So, I mean, there's that. But this stock is an absolute cult, though. But yeah, I'm getting hit after hours here, down to 48, 47.50 now. How's Tesla? 330 was flat. Oh man, IV dump on Tesla tomorrow. Look at Google. Hey, there it is. Hey, you could have bought that dip right there at 185. Up 7 points. It's a pretty good move for Google. Told you, the dealers know. If Tesla does recover, though, it can go to 350. Yeah, so Josh saying, is it true dealers sell the underlying when they hit major levels? Example, SPX hits 6,300 dealers. So how do you think, so let me ask for you before I answer. How do you think it got to 6,300? Because this is a good question. Like how does any move in the market happen? Yeah, they bought it. Yeah. If it wasn't for like the options market, the market would just go sideways and like slightly up like the whole time. There would be no move. Yeah, so basically like you said, so 6,300, you know, so they're selling calls that people are buying, right? And then they're buying to hedge. And once it gets there, what do? They stop buying, right? So and there's this like false street myth like legend out there that's like they go short at it's not what happened. I mean, it's not to say that people don't go short there, but and that they won't become sellers once the premiums decayed enough, but it's like there's like this myth that like every call wall or put wall or whatever is defended. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have, and it also depends very much on how quickly in the cycle it gets there. So like if we hit 6,300 and there's still 2 weeks left, it's going to be different as opposed to if there was like a day left in the expiries. But yeah, so basically, so they don't necessarily sell the underlying because if it's strong and it pops through it, they're going to want to have those hedges. But in this case, when you've you've been beneath 6,300 for like a week and a half, those calls are worthless. Like they don't, they can start selling that, so they can start selling. But then what else is happening? And this is all happening while in conjunction with technical analysis, right? Like what is this? It's just consolidation, right? Even though it's option decay, options decaying, it's consolidation, right? So, if you consolidate at a double top, like right here, you can go through it. If we had gone straight into the double top, it probably would have been a short, right? Same thing with like, option levels, right? You go straight into it and you're extended, it's not going to break through. But yeah, if it consolidates, it can gather enough energy to do that. Or, dealers can just transfer the risk off. Yeah, so he also asked me why about Vanna and Charm. So the closer you get to an option expiry, obviously the quicker the decay is, right? 99% of 97% of the market is long only, right? And or primarily long. And so generally you don't hedge to the upside if you're already long, right? It doesn't make any sense. You only buy downside hedges, right? So for the most part, unless you're speculating, but then you're not hedging, right? So primarily the main where the hedges are, so the downside, right? So the closer we get to expiry, if those hedges aren't in the money and they're out of the money, that means they're decaying at a much more rapid rate, right? The week before, the week of OPEX, right? They're going to decay way faster. So dealers can just buy back the stock. So going back to what Josh is saying, they don't really need those shorts anymore. So you buy the put, they short the stock. You keep doing that. You keep doing that, right? But once it gets to a certain point, if those puts are out of the money, they'll start covering those shorts, and then it just creates a positive feedback loop. And people don't understand this, and that's why they try fighting that's why the short squeezes happen, right? If everyone has hedges already, then what's left to take the market down, right? And if those hedges are 3-4 months out and they're just decaying and decaying and decaying, it's just going to cause more and more buyback. So like a lot of this stuff here, like we probably should have, fair value. We probably should have just gone down to like here or something like that. Or maybe like down here. But this extra stuff, that's the panic. That's everybody hedging all at once. And then because of that, that's how you get this. That's how this happens. Because you figure, especially the timing of it too, right? April, they're going to be buying June quarters, right? So we just ramp up into the end of quarter into June, right? And then by that point, it's too late. CTAs are buying, everybody, it's too late for it to stop. Yeah, so charm is theta. Charm is theta. Vanna is V for vol, Vanna. Implied volatility. So the closer you get to expiry, the lower those two are going to be. And those deltas are just going to get wrecked. Yeah, platinum's tough. Somebody asked me about that earlier today. I just don't. I recommended this like for the longest time, and it finally broke out. The problem is like I just don't trust platinum or palladium like on a like shorter term technical basis because they're so thin. And they're less speculative than like gold and silver. I can just say that it hit 1500, but this is futures, so these contracts don't exist anymore. I mean, we can try looking at spot, but again, it's not like who the hell's trading spot platinum. Like, I don't even know if this is this goes back far enough. Maybe it does. And it's probably not going to, it's not going to show because it's not adjusted. Yeah, let me see. Let me try this one here. I don't want a CFD. Yeah, I mean, okay, there. It's 1500. So, I mean, maybe it's, maybe that'll back off there. But the thing with platinum and palladium, they just take off and they just don't stop. They only stop when they want to. I mean, I certainly can't chase it here. That's for sure. But it's certainly bullish, though. I mean, there's a reason why I was recommending palladium. Like, don't chase gold. Just buy this. This is cheap. I mean, if this goes back to all-time highs, that's tripling, right? There's at 800 and there's 34. So, I would say I'm bullish, but it's just the trend is up. I will say about precious metals too. We're close to a top, but I think silver is nowhere like. I still don't see euphoria in silver yet. Like I don't see people like freaking out on Twitter all day long. But I do think it's going to do that pretty soon. And it's following the typical pattern of gold tops out and then silver has that final leg up. But I don't think it's topped yet, but I'm waiting for a big thrust here. And it might be coming soon. Is it? I don't know. Let's check. This isn't exact, by the way, but it is it's an index. Yeah, it's starting to come in though. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what it does this week. If it comes down and it stays strong, that's a positive. Well, so we'll see. Maybe it just stalls out. So, but I was just saying earlier though, if they, if bullion dealers start paying a premium to sellers, then that's your sign to get out. But we're nowhere. I just don't see the euphoria. I traded through 2011. I sold my silver miners at 46. Like I remember it was euphoria, total euphoria. Like 100%. I don't see anything like that right now. Yeah, the miners are way behind still. I think that's just because of rates, though. Yeah, saying VNQ keep going up with 30. Probably not, but in the short term, yeah, it can do that. In the short term, it can. I don't know how long that can be sustained, but you gotta. I mean, this is a clean breakout here, so I gotta respect it. We'll see. I think ZB did get a little, yeah. TLT got a little bounce here, but I mean that longer term 30-year chart looks really strong though. So yeah, probably not long term, but yeah, in the short run, it can keep going. So like basically right now we're just seeing kind of like an almost like an everything rally, and they usually don't last too long, but they can be pretty violent. Josh saying looking for blow off and chips. Probably, yeah, probably pretty close here. They're already seeing signs of rotation out of this, but okay, yeah, Eastern blocks, yeah. Oh yeah, they're stacking. A lot of geopolitical stuff going on. So let's see. Yeah, so Google and Tesla kind of just hanging out. So yeah, futures are up. So yes, just closed, and yeah, they just made a new all-time high right into the close. Russell right there too. So we'll see tomorrow. I don't think. What do we have tomorrow? I don't think there's anything really that good. Jobless claims. That's every Thursday. Intel. Who cares? Intel tomorrow. Intel's like a fake company posing as a real company. PMI's at 945. Home sales at 10. 10-year tips. So that's it. So nothing major tomorrow. So I mean, I guess if this wants to just keep going up, it can. I would just say right now, yeah, unless we get a high volume sell, just assume that they can take this up here. We're starting to see acceleration, right? Dow breaking out, Russell breaking out. Yeah, we see the froth there, but you don't want to be early fighting that because it can be very painful. I mean, like, what's to say that IWN doesn't go to 245? Like, is there really any reason why it can't do that? It's not really impossible. And I mean, we still haven't seen Sleeping Giant either. And if this breaks out, we're not going down anytime soon. So I think it's just a matter of time there. Yeah, AMD is much better. You just MJ, I'm just gonna say, how would you keep track of bullion dealers paying for? If like if you go onto like their websites and stuff, like if they're like paying you, usually when you buy like silver, let's say $35, usually you got to pay like $1 or $2 premium per ounce. If they're paying, if they're knocking, like they're paying people to take it, that's a huge sign of like massive FOMO. Um, so that happened before, and that was the top. So it doesn't, it doesn't happen often. But you'll see, it'll be all over the, it'll all be all over the financial news. They are a bunch of dinosaurs, aren't they? Yeah, it's a fake company. Everybody always asks me, oh, you know what? Actually, got a nice inside bar pattern there, so maybe it pops on earnings. But everybody always asks me, Aaron, what about Intel? I'm like 1450. That's where I will buy it, and that hasn't changed for like a year. It might pop on earnings though. It's got a nice bull flag. That don't mean anything though into earnings though. I've learned that a long time ago. Let's check the dealers. Let's just check dealers here before we wrap up here. I just want to see how these guys are positioned, just for fun. Okay, so this one's a little wonky looking. Let's go up to 20%. Yeah. All right. Well. So it looks like just there's really no edge here. I mean, like there's a magnet at 25, but there's also like no support if it goes down. So like that could get ugly. So if it does good, it can do, it can bid, but there's really, it doesn't look like there's much support down here if it goes down. Yeah, PFE, yeah. It does come off the lows. My Novo Nordisk was good too. Traded that like 3 or 4 times. That did well. This stock, for some reason, this is like one of those stocks. Like everybody has a stock or two that like just does what you want every time. This one just, for some reason, is one of those stocks that like it does the right thing. It does what I expect it to do. But yeah, we'll see tomorrow. So Tesla's sitting here at up $1. Google up 2. So, oh, Google up 5 now. I told you guys, man, there's a 10 point dip buy there. Look at that. I should have just bought this shit instead of starting this stream up. Could have made some money here. But yeah, there it goes. So nice move for Google. That's taking the markets higher here in the after hours. All right, got one more question here. James on UPS. Yeah, it should curl up here. It should have a move. Man, what a laggard though. It's been disappointing. I did get into it earlier this year. I got out up here on the pop. It should have a run, but man, what a laggard though. FDX looks a little bit better, but yeah, this just should get a squeeze to 110, maybe 115. But just be careful if you guys are going to play squeezes and these squeeze plays that we talked about. If we're up at 6,400, 6,450, and they haven't moved yet, like start like getting, because it's going to be, we're up in thin air right now. Yes, single tickers are less trappy than indexes, except for Tesla and Nvidia, and like Apple and a few others, or anything that's like really like hymns, like anything that's like really popular with the traders and stuff like that. So, but all right, yeah, I'll wrap up here. Yeah, not much else to discuss. Just be careful. Like we're definitely don't fight this year. If you want to hedge it with vol. I don't think VIX is going to go too much lower, but yeah, good stuff. I guess 6,400 is next, unless we get high volume selling. So we'll see how that works. But all right, guys, I'll wrap up here. You guys take care. Have a good one. Thanks for coming out. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys all tomorrow.